Well, this is the first update I've done down here in the basement in a long time, at least for, I don't know, a few different entries. Anyways, I don't have too much to say with the channel right now. Um, Currently, the goal is just to get a video coming out every 2 weeks, and then we want to bump that up to 1 week if possible. Um, there's some things I would like to be doing differently, but a lot's rolling pretty good on the back end right now. It's just I simply don't have the time to dedicate to getting everything I would like to get done. And that's kind of a I don't know if double-edged sword is the word I'm looking for, but I'm tired, so I'm going to use it. On one hand, I'm working a day job, which I wasn't when I started the channel, so I don't really have to worry about not making as much or having all the consistent uploads I would like to have. But on the other hand, I'm working a day job, so I don't have as much time, and I've got other responsibilities going on in my life right now, and just other priorities. I think I've gotten better at basically using the time I put toward the YouTube channel wisely. One of the things I've stopped doing is just putting on audiobooks and documentaries and YouTube videos, putting them on in the background. I don't do that as much anymore because what I'm finding, and I kind of touched on this in a previous video, is I'm at the point where my general knowledge on a lot of the subjects I do videos on is good enough. And one, with a lot of these things, I'm just hearing information repeated. And two, there are times I'm learning a lot of good information, a lot more specific information. But if I'm on a walk, I'm not writing it all down. And if I am, it's going to be like pausing continuously. I'm sort of at the point where what I did when I went for a walk today is I had my dog's leash in the one hand. My dog walks pretty good, so I can kind of have my phone in the other hand, and I just basically wrote for a video, and it was a first draft or a rough draft, I should say, because doing a final draft, I like to have a lot of concentration when I do that, and yeah, I'm not going to when I'm on a walk, and I just have my hand, basically my thumb to type stuff in or the text to voice, so I can't get things as precise as I would like to. But I'm basically just going through and saying what's going to be in the video that I'll then build on with research later. And why I just started doing this is because of, to kind of bring it back around, the problem I ran into with researching. I would be listening to these audiobooks, and either I'm not, I'm basically just wasting time because I'm listening to all this stuff that isn't getting put into a video, or I'm just constantly note taking. In a chapter in a book or uh, in the 40 minutes of a documentary, I'm not going to be copying that thing exactly. It's going to be these different bits of information going to different videos, basically. Because a lot of what I'm doing is sort of remixing stuff that's been said in other places, essentially. So I just started writing it on the go, and then when I had some time here and there at work, when I was taking a break, I would look back and basically I wrote down, okay, this needs to be expanded on, that needs to be expanded on. And that would be time before I might just take to just say, well, I can just do some general research now. There's this book I've been listening to a little bit here and there. Not a research book, but a book on writing habits. And, it's sort of boilerplate stuff, but it does have some good things to just. Sometimes that stuff's good to remind you of basic principles. And one of the things he talks about that writers will do is they'll actually research more to procrastinate. And I find myself doing that a lot. I will jump into a topic and maybe I'll do a little outline, and then I'll be like, Okay, I got this point, that point, this point. Well, I need to do all this research and I need to listen to this whole lecture on this point to write about it any further. And I think this is one of the ways my videos end up getting so bloated in the production process, which is bad in itself, but it's also just, it slows down the production process. Whereas if I really drill myself, it's like, I already know about this topic. At very least, I know well enough to write it in some form. Because chances are that final draft isn't going. In the final drafts, I end up cutting them down a lot. I'm not going to need all that extra meat. So with this I'm currently working on two, which the one was basically when I'm on walks and stuff. This one's in the final draft phase. I can't do that when I'm on a walk, so I just started working on this other one, and I I wrote as much as I could based on what I know, and from there I'm basically like I got a pretty good structure going, and now I'm just filling in the blanks, and I made sure to write the script in a way that I don't think it can and I haven't perfected this method, but it can't run down too many different rabbit holes. It kind of has to stay in the realm of what I know. There might be a few things, maybe a few specific quotes and certain person's takes on certain things they might want to include just to spice things up and tie it to other videos. There might be some specifics that I'll really go and research, but overall it's based on a lot of stuff I already know. Uh, and all this kind of goes back to the idea of just getting more videos out more quickly and not wasting my time, especially now that it's limited. Um, I have. I don't think time itself is a really good excuse. I mean, if you're, it depends. If you're working on a job that just mentally or physically or psychologically exhausts you, that's going to be a lot more difficult. But to pursue these other endeavors, but um, I mean, I've been a fan of music for way longer than I've been doing this YouTube channel, and movies and studying the production processes of all these things, and so often all these people's best work is created when they don't have as much time and when they're pushing themselves and when they have to meet deadlines and they don't have time to just sit around and say, well, I want this to be the best thing ever and I'm going to wait till inspiration comes to me. And that's sort of how I'm looking at my own time, basically. Like, well, what time do I actually have and what can I actually get done? And there's a sort of a, the other side to that. It's sort of like, well, if I was in a situation where I could only get the kind of video I wanted out once every month, then it probably wouldn't be worth doing the channel in any serious capacity. Um, maybe for some channels that could work, but not what I'm doing. But basically, what I looked at is, okay, how can I kind of work within create videos that fit the channel and fit what I want to do and fit a reasonable timeline. So that's kind of what's going on. Just basically trying to work with the time I have and make it as productive as possible. As far as working on with my brother more closely and through different parts of the process, that's going really well. It's something I definitely want to continue doing. And depending on how things keep going and sort of the results we can get from this process, I might even like to bring other people on board eventually too, because it's been a big help so far, but we'll have to see with that. As I say in a lot of these journals, there's been, we're kind of like in a recession. It's just the government doesn't want to admit it yet. Money's bad, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, so maybe that just wouldn't be the best move to try to expand too much. And it might be best to just think about it a little bit more conservatively, not in the political way, just in the general sense. Um, there were some other things I want to talk about that I'm kind of engaging in outside of YouTube that I just want to touch on because they have to deal with what my time is going toward. Some things I think will be good for personal growth and really just help me in the long run, but I might get to those in a future journal video.